Welcome to The Digital Chair by Salon Monster, a podcast for indie beauty pros and salon owners who'd rather be themselves than follow the rules. I'm your host, Liam, and this week we'll be talking with Sally Lemo about building Hair Boss University and teaching color with clarity. I hope you enjoy. Okay, fantastic. I am here with Sally Lemo. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm amazing. How are you doing?
Great. I am great. It is a nice day. I am having fun.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
The sun is shining. We are happy. Daylight savings is coming. It's all good.
Where are you located?
I am near Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. I wondered because I see Cleveland Hair Boss is the name that you have. And that doesn't mean you have to be in or near Cleveland. It just...
Right. Well, I did discover recently that there's a Cleveland, Georgia.
Right.
Which I did not really realize that. Well, recently means a couple years, but still, I wasn't fully aware of that when I made my Instagram handle. So I just assumed everyone would know I was from Cleveland, Ohio, but I guess not.
No, everyone does know, but somebody from Cleveland, Georgia says, well, which one? And it's like, no one says that except if you're from there and you have to say Cleveland, Georgia. It's not fair. It's just the way it works.
It's just the way it works.
Right? Like I'm in Vancouver, BC in Canada, but I also know there's a Vancouver, Washington that I've been through numerous times, not far from here.
Yeah.
And so occasionally I need to mention which one.
Right.
Yeah, that's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
Well, I really appreciate you joining me today. I am going to just sort of start off where I always do, which is, how did you end up in this industry?
It's so funny because I really never sought out to be in this industry. It's not because anything negative. I wanted to be a lawyer. I was going to be the first lawyer in my family, from a very, very young age. Well, not the first lawyer in my family. I'm sorry. I was going to be the first female lawyer in my family because I had a family of lawyers. But what I also had was a family of barbers. And and from way back when. And when I graduated high school and I could not get, my grades would get me into college barely, let's be honest.
Right.
But financially, I couldn't get any financial aid because I made too much money because I had 27 jobs because I just loved money and always wanted to make money. I swear when I was a kid, I created businesses for fun, since the age of 4 years old. That's what I did. Right. So I always worked constantly and that's what I did for fun. But then also my parents made I guess just a touch too much to be able to get financial aid. So I couldn't really get into college. So I called my aunt and I'm like, I hate my job. I hate my life. I don't know what to do. And she's like, well, and she went to barber school and she owned a barbershop. She's like, why don't you go to barber school? And I was like, let me think about this for a minute. I love men. I love touching men. I love flirting with men. Okay. I'm going to find a husband. This was about.
Or several.
Or maybe, right? Whatever was available. And I did find a husband, actually. Okay, and so my first husband, he's not my forever husband, but I married him twice. That's a whole nother freaking podcast, to be honest. But my God.
We'll do that next time.
Yes. But so I went to barber school and I went to work for my aunt. But it wasn't a barber shop where we only did men's hair, although I did a ton of men's hair. We did color and things like that. And so it was more of a unisex salon barbershop.
I was hoping you would say that word.
Yes,
because I don't know why I always have this attachment because I remember when it first started popping up. It's like, it's a unisex salon. I chatted with somebody a couple of hours ago who used the same word. I don't know if most people coming into the industry see that word anymore.
I think it's an older reference, to be honest.
I don't think there are any gender specific spaces. But yeah, anyways.
Right. So we didn't just do men's hair. We did women's hair. We did everything. Right. But I didn't know anything. And my first experience with hair color was horrific. It was in barber school. Oh my God. This gentleman came in. I had never colored my hair before. I was a natural level 6. I was the dream. Whatever. I didn't even know what hair color was. He comes in and he had just permed his hair at home. So he had a pubic hair Brillo pad on his head, right? And so, great call.
No.
And so I know I'm like, well, we did shit like that. It was wild. And so he comes in and he was a natural level 3. Now I didn't know. Do you do haircut? I don't even
Yep.
know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and at the time I didn't know that a natural level 3 was like close to black, right? So very, very dark. I didn't know
Yeah.
what that meant. Well, he brought in a picture that he wanted his hair colored to a barber school, by the way. And he wanted his hair to look like Christina Aguilera or Gwen Stefani.
Right.
Okay. When they were the
Yes.
blondest they could be. Okay.
Yes.
And so they, of course, told me I had to do it because I was a girl and girls are the only ones that would know how to do hair color. Right.
What?
So
All right.
so
Okay.
unfair, set me up for failure. And so I'm like, okay, let's do this. Right. So I go out the back door. We have no hair color there. I go out the back door. I go to the Revco, CVS Revco at the time. And I bought a box of hair color that had Gwen Stefani's hair on it. And so I, opened the box. I threw out the gloves because I had no idea what they were for. I took this styrofoam cup. It had my coffee in it, dumped it out, didn't even rinse it. Okay. I didn't even rinse it because I didn't know. And so I take these two things, I put them in the cup and I'm mixing it with my fingers, right? Because again, I have no idea what this is. And so I start to massage it in his head. Well, as my fingerprints are literally burning off, I'm thinking something chemically is not right here. My boyfriend at the time, who is now my ex-husband, comes up to me and he's like, do you want to go to lunch? And I was like, yeah, of course I want to go to lunch, right? So we went to lunch and lunch was beer at the bar, and 3, 4, 7 of them later, 3, 4 hours later, making out in the car, I'm like, do you think that guy's still there? Okay, listen, let me tell you something. You think anyone checked on him? Nope. You think our instructor, our teacher even knew he was there? Nope. Let me tell you something. He was still there. And like I ask this in my classes all the time, has anyone here ever made a man cry by accident? We've all done it on purpose, right? But if you do it by accident, you still clench your butt cheeks 35 years later when you talk about it. I destroyed this man. He looked like a calico cat with mange. Like I've never seen anything like it. His hair was just falling off. He had blisters. It was horrible. It was horrible because he had just permed his hair, right? So it was a mess. So I go to work for my aunt and she's like, color my hair. And I'm like, I know what that does. Oh, no way. No way. And it was crazy because I put gloves on up to my armpits. I stared at my watch 20 minutes, threw her butt in the bowl. And the craziest thing happened. It stayed attached. There was no blisters. It was beautiful. It was like, holy shit. I didn't even know this could be good. And yeah, so that was my experience with hair color. And so through those two experiences, and being in a salon, oh my goodness, being in a salon that was getting more demand for hair color services, I was like, I need to know how to do this. And that was the moment, though, actually, for me, that was my butterfly effect, so to speak, that I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It was like a lightning bolt hit me. And something in me was released that I was like, I want to always make someone feel like this.
Yeah.
And never make someone feel like this. And so I innately knew that it was through I needed education, right? I needed educated. We didn't learn hair color in barber school, clearly, at all. So I sought out to become an educator, but not to teach, but to be surrounded by the teachers.
Yeah.
That was my goal because
What's the best way?
It really is
to get educated. There wasn't
there wasn't.
There was product knowledge classes.
We didn't have social media. We didn't have access to YouTube. We didn't have any of this.
I had a couple of like VHS and DVDs sent by product companies that didn't really show you how to do it, but showed you what it could look like. We won't tell you which of our products we actually didn't use. It was something else.
Exactly. Oh my God. Listen, you said it. I didn't, but you're right. And it's like, listen, I've been behind the scenes. I know. So I became a brand educator. I taught and I learned with Redken, one of the best education companies in the world at the time. And I learned so much but the shocking truth that I really discovered was I wasn't the only one that didn't know. No. It was shocking to me how many other people that were there that really didn't know. And so it was such a missing link in our industry. And that was when the education, like sharing, got released in me. And so at a very young age, I started public speaking. My dad put me in Toastmasters when I was 12.
Awesome.
While everyone else was outside
Tossed you in the
playing.
deep end.
Yeah, I was public speaking to 75-year-old men. It was like the craziest thing, right? And but little did I know that was going to really prepare me for this stage, most specifically. Specifically, did I say that right? In my 50s, in the latter part of my salon career, where I'm now a professional public speaker and I have my own independent education company. So I've gone from being a barber, and I don't want to say just cutting. There's no just in our industry, in my opinion, but solely cutting, moving into coloring, learning how to not destroy people, but then uncovering, the connection part of it as well, right? The personal connection part of it. And then I left my aunt's salon, opened my own, and several along the way. I lost a salon. I filed bankruptcy. I had my car repossessed in front of my kid. I lost my house, but at the same time opened another salon in a completely different city and learned I did it completely different because I knew what not to do. Right. And so I sold that and 4 or 5 others for a profit. So I'm now
amazing. You sold multiple salons for a profit. Almost no one does that.
Yeah.
One
time. The one I sold for a profit. The other ones, I think I sold as a break even, but it was more to get rid of. Yeah. It was more just, it was time for the next thing, whatever. And I feel like God led me to maybe open these for that next person that wasn't in a position to be able to do it. And so I was the catalyst to do it, and I was honored to be the one. But now I'm in my own independent suite and educating full time.
Yeah. I love me.
So that was my long-winded,
it's a great one.
Way.
That's great. I mean, my body is still stuck in the trauma of that first bleach out that you did right now. Like I'm still physically, I remember the first time I saw a man at the salon I did my apprenticeship at sitting under a hood dryer with bleach on crying. I can't even first of all, why are they under the dryer?
I can't even use heat. I can't even use heat without having panic because of what happened with that man. Because I don't even listen, anything. I am a control freak when it comes to color, probably to a fault, but because of that, I'm like, listen, if you haven't destroyed anybody, you don't know that trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, even separate from making them cry, there's nothing quite like, feeling hair coming out in your hands to sort of either stop you from ever doing color again or figuring out how to never have that happen again. It is terrifying.
Well, I don't know how you feel about these videos, but there are people when they share those videos of people bleaching their hair at home or in the salon and the hair is just falling off, right? They're at home and they're going like this and the hair is just falling off. I literally have a gag reflex to that. Yeah. And I think it's from I can't watch it. I literally will swipe by those as if it's a scary movie because for me it is.
It is a scary movie.
That's my worst nightmare.
I still remember that first YouTube viral video of the little girl using the curling iron on her hair and holding it, and then it came.
Hold it for 20. Yeah. She says, "Hold it for 20."
Like, nope. Click. I can't. Nope. That's.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's awful. Oh,
it's horrible. It's horrible.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's always amazing. We all meet the kind of person who's able to do that multiple times, and it doesn't bother them. I
don't know how.
Are they a sociopath, or how do you do that?
There's got to be. Yeah, I don't. I would.
Or they're just not tortured with the horrifying sense of having to feel everyone's feelings 24 hours a day. And
maybe.
Yeah.
They're missing that empath gene or something.
Right. It's not awesome. It has its perks, but it's not ideal.
Right.
Oh man. So Redken was the first education opportunity you were in? That's the beginning of teaching? Yeah.
Redken was the beginning of my education career. That's where it started. I worked with some of the most incredible educators, leaders, pillars in our industry. I had the gift of time with Johnny Stellato, Sam Villa, Chris Barron, honestly, incredible people. And I was with them on and off because through my salon ownership, there came times in my salon ownership that I couldn't commit to anything else. And, but then I went back and I was with them for, I would say on and off for 15 to 20 years. I was with them for a long time. But then I worked with Lanza Healing Hair Care for 7 or 8 years. I was their global color ambassador for the last several years, and traveled around the world for them. And
So
it was
cool.
a wonderful, wonderful journey. Again, worked with some of the most amazing educators, influencers, people, leaders in our industry. And through that time and through COVID, I my following and my social media presence just blew up. And not on purpose, though. It wasn't something I set out to do.
Well, no,
And
everybody was at home for 3 months or more.
I mean,
It
yeah.
was just everybody. It just
Well,
was. Like,
yeah, you know,
So, and
and
we were-
so it had nothing else to do, right? But scroll our
Yeah.
phones and eat all of our snacks, because I don't know about
did
you,
that.
but I bought enough snacks for the 2 weeks they told us to do the curve, and we ate them in 2 hours, but whatever. And so I was 20 pounds heavier, and whatever. But I, when we shut down, when the world shut down, and this has to do with the story of, working with Lanza and eventually moving into my own independent education. When the world shut down, I took our industry for what I think, because I had already lost everything. I already knew. I knew how to come back. I came back, and I came back hard. And I knew it was going to be okay. I knew in the end I was going to be okay. I knew how to survive. I knew how to make money. But I just had this thing in my heart for our industry, and I was so worried about our industry, due to the mental health, due to the isolation, due to the, lack of most of our industry knowing how to save money, how to plan for the future. No, we're not taught any of that, right? There was just so much of it that I took on as a burden, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, but I know how to teach.
Yeah.
And so I created a private page on Facebook. I charged $9, and I showed up, and I donated. It wasn't for me. It was just, if it's free, you may not show up. And I wanted people to show up and be there. And so I showed up every day for an hour for 14 days. And I was like, I just wanted to keep us connected, because I am so passionate about our industry. I know that there is such connection between us and what we do and each other. And all of a sudden, not just our money was taken from us, but that connection was taken from us.
Yeah.
And we were all being isolated in our homes. And I just was so worried about our industry not being connected to our industry. And so I wanted to keep that connection alive. And so after the 2 weeks to flatten the curve, that turned into 3 months, at least for me. It turned into a year for so many people. Like, it was just a long time. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. I couldn't really do the whole hour a day thing anymore. And the needs of everyone were changing, and there needed to be more instant gratification. So my Instagram at the time, I think I had a couple thousand followers, which is nothing to sneeze at if you think about it, right? If you have 1,000 people in one room, that's a lot of freaking people.
That's a lot of people.
But in the scheme of things, and what a lot of people look at follower count, it wasn't super high, right? But I was not in trying. I didn't care. I was a salon owner. I used my Instagram to get clients. That was what I did. So, but at that time, my thought process changed. And I went from posting pretty pictures of hair I did that made me feel really good about what I did, that built my confidence in my career, made me feel good about what I was showing other people. I switched it to serving the audience that I had, and serving the people that I loved, and serving the industry that I truly, truly wanted to save and keep connected. So I started teaching. I started showing up live. I started sharing videos. I didn't give a shit what I looked like. I looked like I lived in a dumpster, and I did not care. And I showed up so unbelievably authentic. I showed up scared. I could cry when I think about it. I showed up scared, and I just showed up.
Yeah.
I just showed up, and I knew I needed to keep showing up. And honest to God, Liam, the more I showed up, the more my page grew, and it blew up from 2,000 to 20,000 in like a couple weeks, and then to 50,000. And then it was just crazy. And I didn't do it on purpose. And as soon as, and this would be like my one think so many people, when I meet them, they're like, their first word is, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you. I have to get better at Instagram." And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Unless we want to use it
Yeah.
to reach people, you don't need to get better at Instagram, right?
No.
But if your goal is to reach people and to grow your business and to make an impact through your social media, we need to move from sharing things that maybe fill and build our ego into serving the audience that we have.
Yes.
And once we move from feeding ourselves into feeding others, that's when everything will change.
Yeah.
And it truly did, unintentionally. And so I tell people all the time, I'm an accidental influencer, like totally accidental. It was not on purpose. There's a responsibility that comes with it. And I'm honored to have it. I'm honored to be trusted with it. You know what I mean? And it's fun to grow it, but I still don't really try to grow my following. I just want to serve the ones that I have. And I just feel so lucky,
That's so amazing. It was such an interesting time. I don't think very many people grew on purpose. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Most
What
of
a
our
time to be
industry
alive. My God.
Yeah. It's not an industry filled with people that are built to be able to pivot, which was that word that got used. Like, who could pivot? Who could find another revenue source? Nobody in the industry, save for a couple of people, are naturally built to adjust to a completely different scenario. There was so much authenticity going on at that point. There was so much poorly recorded but fabulous education going around, right?
Hi.
Right. No, nobody had good enough internet to do live streams, so it would always be herky jerky, but it was amazing. I mean, I still have a bunch of it sitting on a hard drive, like a bunch that was recorded at the time. There was so much learning. There was. I
miss that time. I'll be honest with you.
It was incredible.
I do.
Really, we went from there was no. Like, so for me in Vancouver, we have a hair show that's supposed to happen every year. It gets canceled every other year because it's not popular enough. Sometimes people of note come, not usually. And so you would either have to go to the Sassoon Academy somewhere else, or go to you go to one of the academies. There weren't people coming into town on a regular basis, and there was no such thing as online. And then suddenly everything was available. Like, I could learn everything. That part was so much fun. Like, the doom and gloom wasn't fun. And the people I knew in California that got shut down and then reopened for 2 weeks and then shut down again and reopened for like, it was awful to watch, but it was a transformative time for the industry.
It really was. Well, and a lot has changed since, and so, and the thing is that I hear a lot from a lot of people that, customers now or clients now they're brutal, they're mean, they're all of these things. And I'm not 100% sure that's the case. No. I'm really not. And because I see in a lot of these forums on Facebook and I don't know if it's just younger stylists. I think really it's every generation of stylists that will say these customers are terrible. Get rid of her. You don't need those clients, this and that. And that our clients have changed and the industry has changed. They're not wrong that the industry has changed. Yeah. I would agree. I think since COVID, what has changed for us is that we learned how to say no.
Yes.
Right? We learned how to say no because now we had permission. We had permission to say no now. If you had a cough, no. Right? Well, whereas before, I literally would have people with pneumonia laying in my chair, in my shampoo bowl, coughing in my face, and they would have a fever. I literally would have clients be like, "Oh, well, you know what? I had a fever of 102, but I didn't want to miss this appointment." Are you out of your mind? You know what I mean?
We're all gonna die.
You can't pull that shit now.
No.
Right? You couldn't pull that shit after COVID. So we suddenly had permission to be able to guard our time and guard our health and guard our lives, where most of us, and I don't know about you, how old are you? Do you mind if I ask you? That's so rude, nope, right? I was the only reason I would think you were in your 40s is because you have some gray hair, because your skin is perfect, which is a bunch of bullshit.
That's nice of you to say.
You look like you're 30.
True, but I appreciate it.
It is. You look like you're 30. Oh my God, ADHD. What were we talking about?
Let's just move on to the next thing. Keep going.
Oh my
ADHD, this guy
goodness.
right here
I
too.
know, I know.
We were talking about the industry has changed and learning to
That's
say
it.
no.
Yeah. So we learned to say no, right? And
Yeah.
so with that, with us being able to say no, because for me, and I think probably most of us in our industry, although the younger generation, they're definitely being taught boundaries that we were never taught.
Oh,
But
yes.
I
Yeah.
never said no.
Yes.
I came in early, I
I
stayed
didn't know
late,
it was
I
an
charged.
option.
Yeah, wait, what? You don't have to stay until 11 o'clock to finish your, what do you
I
mean?
walked the owner's
And
dogs.
oh
I
God,
house sat for
yes,
people. I made sure people
100%.
ate. The amount of stuff that was probably not a great idea that took place. And I felt lucky. I started in '99, and
Yeah.
already that pushing back against the really abusive people
Yes.
had started. So
Yes.
already it was
Yeah.
better, and it's still a
Yeah.
debacle when I look at it. Like nothing, none of that was okay. That's just a whole
Well,
pile
and
of
salon
not.
ownership was so different than it
Yeah.
is now too, right? Because so much of salon ownership, I mean, it still is to a point, but in that stage of my career, so much of salon ownership was emotional.
Yeah.
There were no facts involved. We didn't know, no one knew what the hell their numbers were. They were charging and pricing and making demands strictly out of emotion and
Yeah.
pressure to not lose their business. I mean, at that time, I don't know if those numbers are still the same, but only 5% of salons were profitable, maybe. Right.
Yeah.
And that's like even at a break even. I think only 2% were actually making money. Right. Because we weren't taught any of this in school.
No.
Well, now after COVID, suddenly we're saying no. And suddenly
Yeah.
we're like, well, you know what? I learned what it was like to be home with my family, and I'm not willing to compromise that anymore. And now I'm realizing I have to stay healthy, because if I get COVID, I could die. And
Yeah.
so we were exposed to a part of life that most of us as professional stylists were not ever given the luxury of. We weren't allowed the luxury of saying no, or allowed the luxury of putting ourselves first, or any of that. So that to me is how our industry definitely has changed.
Yeah.
I think the client has changed, yes, but I don't think that they're mean. I don't necessarily, I mean, are some rude? Yes. Okay. I mean, there are
Well,
people,
sure.
right?
But there's not
But what I
a rash
truly,
of them.
yeah, but what I truly think has happened is that also through COVID, I think that their expectations are much higher
Yeah.
because of social media. Right now, they through COVID also, they run social media just like us. Guess what? Your clients have access to everything you do. They have access to all the YouTube. They have access to me. If you knew how many of my followers, clients reach out to me and ask me questions, what should I tell my stylist to do to my hair? Like, and I'm not the only one, but I only know my account, right? And so the expectations, because of social media, because of Pinterest, because of YouTube, because of Instagram, because of all of these things, our clients now know our verbiage. Our clients now understand more of what's involved to achieve said result. We're not doing one trend at a time anymore. We're doing 10. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
doing 15 color trends at a time, cutting trends at a time. So because our clients are more aware, and because they have a further understanding, I have clients that'll sit in my chair that I swear to God they could color my hair, because of the education that they
Yeah.
have
Oh, yeah.
gotten on YouTube. I'm not kidding. Like, would it be perfect? No, but they know more than they should,
A bunch of people
right? They
did
know
do
more than they
people's
should.
hair through COVID.
It's true.
My
It's
wife
true.
cut my hair, like, because someone had to
Sir.
do it, and I was a Q-tip.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I just look surprised
Well,
all the time.
but so, but that's where I feel like the client didn't necessarily change, but their expectations did. And what we learned through that is that clients are willing to pay. They're willing to pay. They
Yes.
just want value. They want
Yeah.
the value for what they're paying for. And what happened was the perceived value changed.
Yeah.
The perceived value changed. And so if we're not bringing that perceived value to the table, well, then the clients are now saying, hey, I didn't get what I thought I was paying for. And that also wasn't happening prior. So that's what I personally think has changed more in our industry is we changed because we got some balls and started sticking up for ourselves a little bit, but also our clients did too.
Yeah.
Our clients did too. So
think
I don't
that
even know why I went on that tangent. Did you even ask me about that?
doesn't matter. I have no idea. It's no different. This is not that kind of conversation.
Am I taking over this conversation?
No. I come from like an elbows up family. I remember a friend started dating somebody that had a similar family, and they were a speak when spoken to person, and I was with them and the whole gang, and said, there's not going to be a gap. No one's going to stop and ask you what you think. You just have to interrupt. No one will even think you're being rude. You think you will.
Right.
That's the only way. So it's not, another ADHD hairstylist that's more than happy to go on a long meandering, no one knows where it started tangent. Someone will. It's in the recording. It doesn't matter. It's not really important.
Someone will figure it out.
I have a bunch of clients that are teachers, not in the hair industry, but students of kids, and they talked about the generation of students who spent their last couple of years of high school going to school from home, partially remotely. And social distancing, and that sort of had a shift socially in that they weren't having the same type of it was a distant social relationship. And so a lot of those people, when they entered other careers, like in the hair industry, they didn't come from that same place, and they were used to sort of a standoffish. They weren't used to the customer service side of things. For myself, like, I hear people say what you talked about people being mean. I've heard that. I haven't experienced it. I'm an okay hairdresser. Like, I put out some good work. I am not the world's most talented.
I think I'm losing
my skill set lies in communication, making sure a person feels better when they leave, when they arrive, controlling the whole appointment, no matter what it is they're asking for, making sure we figure out together what they want and make them feel the way they want to feel. So I didn't find COVID created that problem for me, but I know it did for people that weren't empaths and that weren't great at the communication side and didn't know how to make people feel safe and comfortable. I left a multi-chair space to a one-room studio and inherited a bunch of people's clients because people left the industry. I grew. I got much busier. I changed my pricing. Yeah. I started making way more money.
Good for you.
But I think it also crushed a bunch of people too that didn't know how to how to navigate the making people feel safe and heard and understanding that they know what's possible and they're going to start asking for it. And if you're not giving it to them, they're going to move on.
I think I agree. I agree with you. Well, and the whole communication thing, I think that there's a definite gift that elder hairdressers, I don't even know if I should say elder hairdressers, mature, Gen X, elder millennial, like whatever we want to call that.
Yeah.
But we experienced growing a clientele before social media.
Yes.
And so the reason the gift in that was that we had to actually talk to people. Yes. And we had to, I was pimping myself out in 4-inch heels 12 hours a day, trying to find, right? Like, we were walking up to strangers. I want to do your hair. We were creating marketing campaigns that involved talking to people. Yeah. And we couldn't just post a picture or a video. We didn't even have that. I didn't even get my first cell phone, I think, till I graduated high school. So they didn't even exist. So we didn't have access to all of these things. And so because of that, we innately had to create connection. If we didn't create connection with our clients, they didn't come back. Yeah. Right. And so, but I also think, maybe the other gift was that our clients really didn't know what else existed because they didn't have the internet either. Yes. You got 9 yellow stripes down the part and you liked it.
On purpose. What are you talking about?
And that's right. I mean, and it was beautiful.
I hated doing those.
And so
I know so much the back-to-back slices going.
Unbelievable.
It just never looked good.
It was awful.
Always bleeding.
It was awful. Anyways, right? But now, because of social media, because of texting, because of DMing, because of being able to communicate through these phones without actually talking to people, I think that's part of the problem. I really do. I think that's a huge missing link in our
Yeah.
industry is taking the time to create personal connection with
Yeah.
people to show up. Like for me, I tell people in my classes all the time, do this one thing and you'll notice a difference in your retention. I don't just send texts, I actually send voice notes. That one
Oh, I
thing,
love that.
that one shift is because then this person, especially a new client that is reaching out to me, I will send them a voice note. They will hear my personality. Now, they get to know me a little on Instagram already, but
Sure.
I can create a personal connection in that way. And I'm going to tell you something, almost every single time they are blown away that I took the time to create a voice note.
Yeah.
Blown away. They can't even
Did,
believe that I took the time to do this.
did they know that it was much
You know?
easier for me because I find typing
I mean,
tedious and
yes,
takes
'cause then-
forever, and just talking at my phone is so much easier?
Right? Little did they know.
Yeah.
It's so much easier, right?
Just cutting.
But
I was cutting corners. I didn't.
yeah, exactly. But so much of our industry, especially the I don't want to say the newer generation, but younger generation, meaning last 15 years probably.
Sure.
15 years or less.
Well, it is a shift. It's not about them.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the things I try and tell people.
Yeah.
There is no generation
you have
that's
access
better or
to.
worse than another generation.
Yep.
It's what's your environment like, and it will have positive and negative effects. So is it
100%.
awesome to start in the age of social media where you have access to way more videos of education and stuff like this? Yes. Is it also
Yes.
rough because you didn't have to do the torturous, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, like as a male trying to walk up to women on the street and say, hey, do you want to
Yeah.
it was like a Sassoon style education, so it was like, who wants a one length bob that no one wants right now? Does anybody want that? Please. I promise, I've done it one time before. It'll be great. It's free. Does
It'll
that make
be
it sound better?
great.
Ugh, God.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? I feel like there's this gap in our industry right now of like our generation of hairstylists and then also the younger generation, and where it's almost like, where does the connection come in? Like, where's the middle ground? You know what I mean? And that's where my passion is definitely starting to grow. And I'm developing a stronger passion to connect and remind our generation of their relevance, because so often I have so many people that reach out to me and they're like, how do you stay relevant? I feel like I'm being passed by. I feel like I don't belong in the industry anymore. I don't know how to catch up. Social media is a nightmare, like all of these things. And I get it. I totally get it.
Sure.
And I'm definitely developing a much stronger passion. And I'm also in the process of developing a program for that stylist to stay and feel connected to our industry, and to be able to update their skills, update their whatever, because it's necessary. It just is. It's necessary. And how we can bring our genius of what we learned without all the gifts of social media and online education and all of these things, but also to not feel intimidated, offended, and what's the word? Like taken over by the younger generation, because that's not what's happening. And I personally am so inspired by these younger stylists that come out of school and will charge $400, $500, $600.
Oh my God.
Yeah, hell yes. Good for you. I wish that I would have had a molecule of that confidence to be able to understand my numbers and to understand like what it takes, and to have the confidence in my skill set to charge something like that. Whereas I come across so many in my travels that are very offended by it or put out and can't even understand the audacity of it. And so I want to bridge that gap and bring us together where the generations learn from each other, because both of them have so much to give.
Yes.
And so much to give each other. And that's where, I just have seen through my travels, there's a divide, and there doesn't need to be, because we all bring so much to the table,
We have to find a new way to do it too, because salons aren't what they used to be. I mean, when you and I were coming up, the salon I started at, I did an apprenticeship. It was 12 chairs, 13 stylists, 10 of them were chair renters, but that was not the norm at the time. And one of the things I see now is because so much of our generation went independent, like booth rentals, private studios, and things like that, there aren't the same quantity of large salons young people can start at and have that, the group molding them and seeing lots of perspectives and ways people, both for good and bad reasons, things you should do, things you shouldn't do. And so you're not having, they weren't mentorships, but you were surrounded by people and you learned, and there's a lot more siloing of that and people not there's less sharing. So I think that's one of the problems you see between the generations within the industry. So I'm glad that you're gonna tackle that, because we could use all we could get.
I'm excited. More to come.
Yes. When do we get to hear the next part of whatever that is? Okay, good.
Very soon. Very soon.
Let me know. We'll do this again when that's launched.
I would love to. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Because then you can describe all of it to me, because I like to know everything that everyone does ever.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so are you behind the chair still at this point a little bit?
I am a little bit, not a ton. I'm more in, I'm a full-time independent educator. Okay. So I guess, so circling back, what Instagram and growing my following did, I was working with Lanza still at the time, and the demand for me teaching outside of a brand started to grow. I had stylists that were not using Lanza, asking me to come teach at their salon. And so I started doing that because I was an independent contractor, and that soon became a little bit of a conflict of interest. And I get it. I understand, whatever, I understand. And it just got to a place where, I just honestly, I was making more money independently, and I couldn't justify the time for both. And the demand for me independently was growing so fast and so strong that I eventually just, made a choice to not renew my contract with them. And so, and I stepped out, and this was in 2022-ish, I think.
Okay. Yep.
I'm pretty sure. And I became full-time independent, and it has been crazy and amazing. And we now have retired my husband from teaching, and he is now our director of operations and quality control and all that kind of stuff. And so we're growing by leaps and bounds. But what's crazy is that year that I stepped out into independent education, I found out that I had breast cancer. And so I had found a lump that year. I think it was that year. And crazily, I had signed a lease on a new salon, a 2,000 square foot salon that on one side, it was going to have an advanced academy, and the other side was a salon space with 4 chairs. And 2 weeks after I signed my lease, I found out I had cancer. And so it was crazy. But I will tell you, heavy. I know, right? Buzzkill. Ready?
No,
Buzzkill.
Not even, it doesn't. I just mean that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was crazy. And so then that year in July, I got a double mastectomy. And I am cancer-free. Thank God. I found it very, very early. It was stage 1A. And I found it through a breast exam. And I hadn't had a mammogram in so many years of not taking care of myself. And I swear it was like I audibly heard from God, you need to check your boobs. And I did. And I found a lump. And it was crazy. And I told my husband, I was like, hey, can you feel this? Because I don't know, this doesn't feel right. And he's like, well, I think you need to get that checked. And it turns out that it was breast cancer. And I opted for a double mastectomy. I personally did not get implants. I just chose to not do that. And they told me that a mammogram wouldn't have found it until it was stage 2. And that so, I mean, I'm not saying don't get mammograms, but they're not the only way. And I would have had to, I didn't have to get chemo. I didn't have to get radiation. I found it very, very early.
That's
it did not metastasize. It was not in my lymph nodes. When I tell you, I'm going to be honest, I went through some major survivor guilt though from that, because so many people have sat in my chair. So many stylists have shared with me their stories of losing their hair, of losing their organ, my God. And I'm like, why didn't I have to go through that?
Yeah.
And I think maybe the reason is that I was trusted. I feel like I was trusted with the message because
Yep.
I have a big mouth and I don't give a shit. And I will show up and say whatever I needs to be said. And, you know, I am a big check your boobs girl. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like the boobless wonder. And
Good.
like,
Everybody
listen,
should be told that.
right?
I mean,
It's
like,
true. Men and women, it doesn't matter. If you have boobs, you need to check them, you know, because you don't know.
no.
And again, and doctors don't know. And I was so sick for a year and a half and I didn't know why. I didn't know why. And it was because I had cancer growing in my body. It was growing very slowly. But the
Yeah.
craziest part about this is I'm telling you, when I woke up from my surgery, I knew the cancer was gone. My body felt completely different. I looked in the mirror and my eyes were light hazel again. They were like a
Wow.
dark, dark blue. My eyes got darker. It was crazy. Okay. So the doctors don't always know because I was going to
No.
doctors and they were like, they were doing tests and not ever, you're fine. You're just, you know what? You're getting older and you're getting older.
Yes, that's right. That's what it
you
is.
know,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my, and something's
You're
not
at
right.
the end anyways. So, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Shit.
right? For the
Yeah.
doctors. God.
Well, and I learned the hard way through that whole thing of how important our lymphatic system is. And unfortunately, I had developed lymphedema from my surgery, and we're not taught these things as hairdressers, as
No.
professional stylists. And so that also is part of this little movement I'm working on is just really and truly healing our industry in so many
Yeah.
different ways because we just are not taught. And, you know, COVID told us we didn't matter, you know, we weren't essential and all of those things. And I just don't believe that.
No.
and I'm here
No,
to prove it.
I felt the opposite because I felt when I went back to work, when I reopened, I felt the enthusiasm at which people, I mean, I was the only person a lot of these people were seeing outside
100%.
of their household or maybe their little cohort.
Yep.
Yeah, what I found was I had some people, even for 2 years after I went back, I was the only person they saw. One client,
Yeah.
she talked to her building manager and me. And I was certainly the only people that was having physical contact, right?
Yep.
There was touch and there was just this sense of it felt more important.
Yep.
But
Truly.
I know that was not everyone's experience. So I felt really lucky in that way. And
Very,
I
very,
feel
very
really
blessed.
lucky that you made it.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
got through
thank you.
everything. And
Thank you. Yes, and I feel very, very blessed to be here. And I, you know, you have something like that happen, and it gives you a completely different perspective
Yeah.
on it. Your priorities change overnight, you know. And I've learned the hard way that money isn't freedom, you know, and truly, and money isn't my only currency. Time is. Time is my number one currency.
Yeah.
And whatever I need to do in my life to have unlimited freedom of my time is what I want to do. And if that means, you know, making millions, if that means making no money, I don't care. I just know that time is the currency. And so that's what I've built my education platform on is teaching
Yeah.
people how to do things faster and more efficiently and because stop wasting time because it's just not necessary and putting all this stress on our bodies unnecessarily. And so,
Yes.
just so much of that. And I mean, back to the COVID thing. I don't know about you, but I had people offering to pay me $500 to color their hair behind a freaking dumpster. Like they're like,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like we were like,
I did home
and
color
when
kits for some people.
so many people did. So many
Like
people
I,
did.
You know, I
We
mean,
had to.
only because I had a rash of 6NN and 20 volume people
Listen.
where it was like, yeah, go for it. Here
Well,
you go.
and many of us, and honestly, in my opinion, I mean, I get it. I know a lot of like color companies were like, if you do this, you won't be able to buy color from us anymore, or like whatever. But you know what? We had people that were showing up on Zooms, and they still had to work through everything. And what were we were telling them to go color their hair at home, like, and use store-bought colors. And I don't know. The whole situation was just terrible, right? And so
we all had to take care of each other in
we
whatever
had to
way
just
we
figure
could.
it out. We just had to
And
figure it out.
If
you
I
know?
need to give you some professional hair color,
Listen,
fine.
whatever.
It's not like I gave it to everyone, and it's not like
Right.
I didn't let anybody mess it up. It's just
I would much rather my client have access to using what I know they're using, and that I could tell them how to use it to not hurt themselves and destroy their hair, so that I have to spend 12 hours fixing it with a mask on and barely touching them and all, you know what I mean? Like, forget it.
Please. Yeah.
Forget it.
Yep. Yep.
It's not.
I love it. I love
But
it.
so, yeah, so the whole like world telling us that we weren't essential, our clients proved how essential we were.
Yeah.
And what was proved was, and this is again, one of the things that I teach in my classes is, our industry is the only industry that I can think of that, and I don't know if you're familiar with the 5 love languages or not, but our industry is the only industry that we activate all 5 during the service.
That's interesting.
We activate all 5.
Never thought about that.
And guess what? We also receive all 5.
Yes.
And that was what really prompted me during COVID, was because, think about this. We do a service, right? We perform a service. So there's our acts of service. And then quality time. And so it's spending that time with that client, with that individualized attention. Often we are the only space for so many people where they feel seen, like fully seen, right? Yeah. And then physical touch, the act, what we're doing, physical touch. Words of affirmation. How many times we've turned a client around and they see themselves and we're like, every time I see someone, I'm like, oh my God, I love your earrings, or I love your shoes, or positive, reinforcement. And then gifts. And how many of us have given the gift of, shaving someone's head, or the gift of giving them products. Maybe they were in a tough spot, or just unlimited gifts that we give people. And so that's where our industry is truly the only one that I know of and that I can think of that does that. Yeah. That does that. And how often we are thought of as not professional, and as a backup plan, and as non-essential, and something that doesn't really matter. And you do it really because you can't do anything else. And I'm here to tell you, our industry is the most misunderstood, overlooked gold mine out there.
I agree.
And the only reason they think that we are any less professional than any other industries is because we have fun doing it. And people feel better when they leave us. Yeah. They feel much better when they leave us.
That's my goal.
You can't say that for many other professional industries, right?
No.
Listen, and I don't mean to monopolize the whole time, but like leading up to that, when I owned a larger salon, I would go to networking groups, and I went to this networking bonfire. Like wild shit, man. I guess we did that in the early 2000s. I don't even know why this was a thing, but I was talking to this one guy, and I was like, so what do you do? And he's like, I'm a lawyer. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I was like, wow, I bet you see some really crazy stuff. And I was making conversation. He's like, well, what do you do? And I said, I was very excited to share. And I said, I'm a hairdresser. And he's like, oh, you just do hair? What the did you just say to me? I just what? God. I'm sorry, what? I just what? Like the blood left my body. I had an out of body experience. I got dizzy. I still remember. I can feel it right now. It was terrible. I had to leave. I just what? I'm in the car, and when I tell you I'm white knuckling the steering wheel. I'm so pissed. I'm slamming the steering wheel. I'm like, F you. I'm like yelling at this guy, right? I'm like, you don't know what I do. You don't know the babies I've buried. You don't know the heads that I've shaved. You don't know the divorces I've weathered. You don't know. I don't just do hair. Are you out of your mind? And I went through, I think, all the stages of grief that night. I really did. I was angry. I was sad. I felt alone. Like I was questioning my existence. Like it was deep. It was deep.
Yeah.
But I woke up the next day, and I swear it was like I audibly heard, we teach people how to treat us. Okay. We teach people how to treat us. And I'm telling you, from that point on, when someone asks me, and I always say it, when someone asks me what I do for a living, I tell them I'm a professional hairdresser. I'm a professional hairdresser because I am, and so are you. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what, just saying those words allowed me to step into my power, and allowed me to hold my shoulders up, hold my shoulders back, like without trying. And just, it just gave me permission to own it. It gave me permission to own it. And this is where I really believe this. Like, we are no less professional than a doctor or a lawyer. Like truly, I believe that. We go before the medical board.
Yeah.
We go, maybe we don't do what surgeons do, but I'm here to tell you, we go before the medical board. And when I teach these classes and I have people come into my classes, there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of education just in that room, like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of hours of education and learning and healing and serving just in that room.
Yeah.
And the reason people think that maybe we are less professional or less deserving or less essential is because our clients or patients or whatever, they leave us better for it. And I don't think they leave the doctor or the lawyer or the plumber or the dentist often feeling the way they feel when they leave our chair.
No.
And we're drinking a Starbucks, smoking a cigarette, and cutting their hair at the same time.
It's the best. It's the best.
Did you smoke and do hair? I smoked and did hair when I was younger. It was great. Did you ever smoke? You probably didn't.
Oh yeah, lots.
Yeah.
Your voice. Can't
I
sound
literally
like this. You don't get to...
would smoke a cigarette while I was cutting hair. It was wonderful. It was crazy.
I don't remember a lot of smoking tobacco in the salon, although definitely outside.
But I'm a lot older than you, actually.
But
oh no, we had
lots of other stuff
I was in
smoked
Little
in the
Italy,
salon.
100%. But I worked in Little Italy in Cleveland.
Yes.
So I think like we kind of like even did more. We didn't give a shit even more. And it was a barber shop officially. So we could get away with like our chairs had ashtrays in them and they were filled.
I love those. I love those. I know.
Amazing.
It's great. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Sally, you're amazing. This is so
You
much fun.
are.
I could do this for 3 days. Let's.
Oh my God.
Let's do it again soon. I'm
would love
cognizant of
that.
not wanting to take up your entire day.
Well.
But I just wanted to ask one quick question before we wrap up, which is, if what do you say to a new person that wants to get into doing hair and says, "What do I do? What should I do? What's the first thing I should do?" What's like a piece of advice you tell people at the beginning?
Well, the first thing I would say is welcome to the most incredible industry in the entire world. Yes. Welcome to the freest opportunity of your life. And I would say you are a product of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And so be very, very conscious of what you allow your eyes to see, what you allow your ears to hear, and what you allow your mouth to say. And surround yourself with people, with video content, with like written word that is going to inspire you, that's going to keep you connected to growing, to positivity. Don't sit your ass in the back room listening to all of the crap. Get out there and watch the elder millennial, watch the Gen X whipping through a foil and pick their brain. Pick their brain, because I'm telling you, there's so much out there. There's so much out there, and there's so much more you need to know than what just maybe YouTube can provide you. And
Yes.
you know, you are who you hang out with. And that would be my biggest thing to say.
I love it. Amazing. Great mic drop moment.
Awesome.
Where can people find you? How do they get in
Well,
touch
come
with
hang
you?
out with me. I would love
Okay.
it. Come hang out
Yes.
with me. So if you aren't already following me, my Instagram handle and TikTok handle are Cleveland Hair Boss. You can follow me on Facebook. It's Sally Lemo. But I also have an online education space called Hair Boss University. And you can go there, hairbossuniversity.com. And I have all kinds of online education and in-person classes coming up. And I teach private salon classes to help build and grow and solidify cultures. So I'm in.
Get it. Love it. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I really
Thank you
appreciate it.
for having me. I love being here.
We'll
Thank
do it
you.
again soon.
I hope so.
Bye.